like the little one walking down like, oh, I like that. I like that. What are they selling? Oh, these are just 3 guys sitting at a table.
Or like John Belushi said, how much for that little girl?
Oh, gee. How much for the women?
That little girl.
I haven't seen Blues Brothers in so long.
That's one of the
What's the...
I saw it for the first time last year.
What?
Yep.
I can't even fathom that. What's the holdup? Illinois Nazis. I hate Illinois Nazis.
We are live again. Where are we, Brandon?
We are at Sarges Comics in New London, Connecticut for Free Comic Book Day. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, there we are.
Hey,
Hey.
We've been here the whole time, but yes, there we are.
Yeah.
There you are, baby. You're right there.
What a twist.
So for Free Comic Book Day, they are for all in-stock merchandise is 10% off, and special marked items. Damn, I need to get my glasses fixed. Specialty marked items are half off. Be sure to join us on May 7th. Hey, that's today, Free Comic Book Day. And in-stock merchandise only can't be combined with other discounts. And that expires, looks like, tomorrow.
Oh.
So make sure, get there today. Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah,
you
come
know?
on down. The price is right. Free 99.
And-
Who doesn't love free?
I know. I
mean, unless they're like giving out like, oh, free gonorrhea. I know you can keep it. I'm fine.
Yeah. So I believe Dark Crisis comes out today.
Yes, I believe so. Dark Crisis, of course, one of the friggin' 5 billion crises that DC has done since Crisis on Infinite Earths.
It's their summer event. You got to make sure you have a crisis for summer. You know.
Do you though?
No.
Do you really? Like, I mean, if it'd be one thing if they made it an actual event and worthwhile, but to just take the word crisis and start applying it to any big-ish event that they're doing in DC,
No.
Yes.
it's kind of cheapened the idea of it. It's essentially becoming a joke at this point, just to use the word in and of itself. Especially after the last big one that they did, Heroes in Crisis. I mean, I don't know very many people that enjoyed that. I know I did not. It was not done very well.
I have not read any of the crises.
Any of them? Excuse me. I'm sorry. Any of them? Like,
yes, any. No.
so you've never even not Crisis on Infinite Earths, the original, the game changer, as it were.
Yeah, no.
Well, I think you should read that.
Well,
at the very
I
least.
know I need to read it.
You
Yeah.
should go home tonight and start on it, especially considering the rather unfortunate news that we received during our break that George Perez, one of the 2 creators of the aforementioned Crisis on Infinite Earths, as
and
well
the Infinity Gauntlet.
as well as many other big things such as the Infinity Gauntlet, the Teen Titans. This is the guy that created Deathstroke the Terminator for DC. He passed away after having dealt with stage 4 cancer. I cannot remember what kind of cancer.
I think it was pancreatic, I think.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, cancer in and of itself is horrible no matter what.
Yep.
But he was surrounded by, his loved ones. He was with his wife. She had been posting, recently that he's just been, resting a lot.
Yep.
And today he finally,
to the big
laid
comic
down
book
and,
shop in the
and
sky.
he finally earned his rest for good. And it is unfortunate that we lost such a talented storyteller and artist. But I think I can speak for everyone when I say that, much better altogether that he is no longer in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of work that he left behind that we can go back and either enjoy again or discover for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
There's certain things out there right now that ever since it was announced that he was sick, that have been made available. JLA Avengers,
Yep,
which was a
totally.
crossover that had been talked about for years and years, and it finally occurred in the early aughts, I believe, early 2000s. And, there was some really cool stuff and ideas that were put forth at that point as well. For example, one of the things I thought was really cool was that when some of the Avengers and Justice League of America members switch places in their respective universes, the Flash ends up in the Marvel Universe, and because of the idea that they had put forth from Mark Waid with the Speed Force over the years, they had to cut off Wally West, because that's who was Flash at that point in time, from being able to use his speed. He had no Speed Force connection in the
because
Marvel
there's-
Universe because
yeah.
there's no Speed Force.
Yep.
He actually had to create while there, and I cannot remember with whom. It might have been Hank McCoy, because you think about Avengers, like who would be smart enough? Hank McCoy, Tony Stark, Hank Pym.
Yep.
It's been years since I read it, because it wasn't available, like I said, again, until recently. I did buy the Prestiges when they came out, but those are bagged and boarded and stored away.
And we don't touch them.
We don't touch those.
Nope.
But I believe they helped him create like a sort of tech vest that retained and multiplied upon itself the residual Speed Force energy in his cells. And so he was still able to use a measure of super speed while in the Marvel Universe until he got back to DC proper. Something I never would have thought of.
Well, also something that came from that book was actually brought forth in Loki, where the Infinity Gems did not work outside of their universe.
Which
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. I think it's one of two great decisions that were made concerning the Infinity Gems / Infinity Gauntlet. One in JLA Avengers, and I can't remember where this happened specifically, but the Living Tribunal declared basically in the Marvel Universe, the Living Tribunal, whatever they say goes. They whatever arbitration takes place, if they say a thing, it becomes true. They make it happen. And the Living Tribunal showed up at one point when I think it was Magus, Warlock's like dark self or whatever, was trying to dick around with the Infinity Gauntlet, and the Living Tribunal was finally just like, you know what, that's it. The gems don't work together anymore. And that was that. And because of that, you can use each one individually, but you can't put them together and use all of them together at once. You can't make a gauntlet or anything. And, it took Thanos doing all kinds of crazy shit and other people getting their hands on it, like Warlock, who's supposed to be a protector, but then splitting and having his dark half come out as Magus and being just as bad, if not worse, than Thanos. It's about time some like nigh omnipotent cosmic entity was like, yeah, maybe this isn't a good idea to have all these things work in tandem. So, yeah, you want to control time, you can hold the time stone. You want to control power, you hold the power stone. But both, good luck, asshole. And that's that. But regardless of that with the Living Tribunal, there's a lot of stuff that George Perez has done. Even as recently as he actually, in the New 52, which I know is much maligned by a lot of folks, but he did Superman. He did the Superman book. And I actually thought it was kind of cool to see what you could consider to be like classic George Perez art. It's for me, it's so much associated with Teen Titans, like when I see it. But it was Superman in this like new segmented Kryptonian armor suit. And I was like, oh, I don't know, he brought a depth to it that a lot of the stuff from like Jim Lee and other artists at that point in time when they were doing that new initiative with DC was lacking. And it just goes to show the difference, I think, generationally for artists and creators as you go through the medium. But all that being said, it's unfortunate, but rest in peace to George Perez,
Yep.
and we hope that his family, his close friends, find at least some small measure of comfort at some point in the near future. Today is likely going to be a mixture of grief and relief. Sad that they will no longer see him, but also, for lack of a better term, glad that he is no longer suffering. And I think that's where we fall right now. Just glad that he's not suffering. And for myself as a fan, just I'm gonna see what George Perez books I have at home and sit down and read one later on tonight.
There
Yeah.
you go.
I'll lock my dogs in a different room with my wife, tell them to leave me alone. I'll say, like, this is important. I'm grieving someone.
Sit her down with the pasta.
Yeah, and I'll sit her down with
Yes.
pasta from Paul's Pasta here in Connecticut because I apparently they have really good pasta. So, and Dara, if you're
I'm not-
watching, I guess the surprise is ruined.
Not trying to push it on you or anything.
Not
but
trying to push it on. I'm just saying, if you don't get it, Brandon, don't show up on the show next week. Oh, okay. Fantastic. But yeah, go home and scope out, see what I got, and just kind of remind myself why this guy was one of the titans of the industry.
Yep.
We've lost some good artists and writers over the past few years, and looking at some of the things they did, whether it was just the quality of their work or like just heads above the rest, or if it was some of the content of their work, such as Denny O'Neil and a lot of the social justice stuff that he was doing in Green Arrow and Green Lantern. Those are important books. And that's another artist that we lost. We've got him, Neil Adams recently, George Perez. I mean, the artist alley in heaven right now must look amazing.
Oh
Yeah.
Yep.
But just go home, Leo, get Crisis on Infinite Earths. Actually read it, you schmuck.
Yeah, I know.
You have a perfect excuse to get it. I mean, we're here.
Yeah, totally.
I wish the camera could translate the look that I just watched Leo give Steven. He was like, oh, yeah, thanks. We're in a comic store. I got it. That was incredible. You just stick with the 12 issues. You don't have to go with,
Okay. That was my concern because, like, you see the collected volumes that are, like, insane.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's so many books that tied it because it was all encompassing,
Yeah.
The only hi. Hi. Sorry, a little baby looking at. Just saying hello. Hello. I know we're trying to figure out what we're doing here too. I get it.
He's still infatuated.
This is a good place for it. Yeah, with that, there's a lot of tie-in. The only thing I would suggest, and this will actually, the reason I suggest is because it's part of.
Oh, Steven, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean.
No, you're
I know
fine,
we're
dude.
doing a big George
No,
Perez tribute.
No.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
some people have to work, so I
Oh,
apologize.
yes, some people.
Yeah. So I'm gonna switch to the. Okay. So you can go now, Steven.
Fine, go. You've stayed your hour.
I'll see you all on Wednesday.
Is this still streaming? Oh, cool. So, but they can't see it. They can only hear me. This is great. Too much power. I can't handle this, Leo. You got all your stuff, bud? Don't get your phone. Okay, hold on. Pace yourself. Pace yourself. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Get your stuff wound up. Not yourself, but your stuff. All right. And I'm just gonna put this in the bag for you. That way you don't. Steven's trying to be both polite and quick. So it's not two things that don't necessarily go hand in hand when you're trying to make moves.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Have a good night, everyone. And I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a good night, buddy. Catch you on the flip-flop. See you then. See you on Wednesday. All right, I guess I can move down.
Yeah.
And, is his mic still on? Okay.
Now it's not.
Okay. No, what I was gonna say is turn this one on, and I'll move over.
There we go.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Maybe maybe grab the camera. Move it a little closer. That worked. Perfect.
Wonderful. What? This mic sucks, dude. What the hell? La 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 la. Whoa, jeez, that gets. I hadn't reached over to play with the gain yet. I was checking to see my distance to it.
Yeah, I think the gain might be. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
good.
that's considerably better. I see what he was saying about this stand in particular, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one definitely wiggles more. The one I was using is
I-
toit, like a toy.
Yeah, I didn't bring a screwdriver to tighten them. My
No
bad.
worries. Oh, I probably have one in my car. I didn't even think of that. Jeez. But yeah, what I was gonna say is for any of the tie-in stuff for Crisis on Infinite Earths, honestly, there's a few that are fun, but the one that I would say that you would probably get the most out of, just because of things that you've read previously that aren't Crisis necessarily, is the Superboy Prime stuff, where it shows the world he came from and how Superman asked him to come and help him fight this crisis, because you're aware of who Superboy / Superman Prime is from
Yeah.
DC.
Oh yeah.
But also you've read the sort of Elseworld by Kurt Busiek, Superman Secret Identity.
Yes.
And that is 100% inspired by the idea of Superboy Prime from Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Really?
Yeah.
I loved Secret Identity.
Oh my god, I love that book so much. It's like one of my top 10
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, that's Gary Frank and Jeff Johns, right?
I will murder you.
What?
No.
No.
That's
Am I thinking of saying?
you're thinking of Secret Origin.
Oh, I love Secret Origin.
I do too. I also enjoy Secret Origin. No, Secret Identity was
Okay.
the one with the kid named Clark Kent from Pickettsville, Kansas, who wakes up one night and finds that he has all the powers of Superman, who is a comic book and cartoon and movie character.
Okay, we did read.
We
that.
we read that for.
I like that story as well.
Yeah, Kurt Busiek he wrote it, he created it, and Stewart and Monin drew it. And the story is superb, and Stewart and Monin's artwork is sublime. It is beautiful. It has a very painted and illustrated look to it. The colors, the palette he uses, is just phenomenal. The fact that this is a Superman who, it's a real world Superman. It's a guy who just happens to be named Clark Kent, like the comic book character. He gets made fun of for that fact. And he decides, you know what, I do want to use these powers to help people. I'll wear a Superman costume, because who on earth would believe that Superman actually did come out of the sky and save someone? And he does it all at night to make it harder for him to be seen, which is sort of the exact opposite when you think of Superman. It's always bright and sunshiny daytime.
That was the one where he tunneled.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. This particular Superman, he moves to New Hampshire, and he tunnels under an old tree, which is an idea he got from a Superboy comic book. But he tunnels all the way down through into Boston Harbor. So every time he shows up anywhere, like, the government's trying to track him, they just see that he comes up from Boston every time, which is kind of cool because it means that Kurt Busiek made Boston metropolis in this story.
Oh yeah.
And that lines up with Kurt Busiek's, family history. He is from Boston. So, but yeah, that book, it was like 4 Prestige comics when it came out. And then they combined it into 2-issue, 100-page spectacular when they were doing those about 10 years ago. But you can get it, or you could get it collected for a while. It's really good. I highly recommend it. But that was inspired directly by Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think that I think that bringing Barry Allen back to the comic books in the past 15, 20 years, the way Jeff Johns did, was a huge...
She's hiding from Bumblebee.
That's outstanding.
That's adorable.
That's so cute. One of the best things about Crisis, and part of the reason why it was a game changer, was the fact that Barry Allen dies to save the universe, and he stayed dead for many years. And then Jeff Johns was like, "I liked Barry Allen. I always wish he hadn't died," and brought him back. And quite frankly, I feel like it screwed a lot of stuff up. Wally West had come into his own as a character, and I really think that there's something to be said for legacy within a lot of these stories. We don't get a lot of that.
No.
And to see the passing on of the mantle from Barry to Wally was heart-wrenching when it happened, but it worked for the character. It allowed him to grow and develop. The fact that Wally was nowhere near as fast as Barry when he took on the mantle of the Flash and had to learn even more, and now he didn't have the mentor he did. Like, there was a lot to explore there. And how Wally, honestly, his approach to the Rogues Gallery was a lot different too. He didn't just go full bore and be like, these guys are bad guys, and that means I have to put them away, the way that Barry did. You know, one of his best friends became, person who became one of his best friends was Pied Piper, who was a straight up villain. And the reason they became friends is because Wally actually was like, wait a minute, like, what's going on? Like, why don't you just tell me what the problem is? And it led the way for so many other great things that Mark Waid was able to do, Grant Morrison, within the Flash comics, that, you know, bringing Jay Garrick back into everything, the creation of Max Mercury, the Speed Force, all that stuff. And by bringing back a long dead character, it was almost like having Spider-Man be this wildly successful character for years and years and years, predicated upon the fact that his own neglect allowed Uncle Ben to be killed. And then after like 20 years, just say, oh, you know what? We found a way to bring Uncle Ben back. And there he's always back.
Why haven't they done that?
Because it would undercut the drama of the situation and really take away from the character development, which I feel like some people at DC should have understood when they were going to bring back Barry Allen. You know, like, oh, it worked for Hal Jordan. Did it, though? I mean, I think Hal Jordan is one of the most boring Green Lanterns. I think Guy Gardner, Jon Stewart, and Kyle Rayner are all far more interesting than Hal Jordan. I think they're all a bit more deserving. Guy Gardner, I mean, Jesus Christ, that dude, he went through so much shit.
Now, who'd they use in the movie? Was that Hal?
Oh, yeah, that was Hal.
Okay.
Yeah, that was... I like Ryan Reynolds, but I really do. I like Ryan Reynolds a lot. But Hal Jordan should not be like this funny, cocky dude. Like, he's just... Honestly, Hal Jordan's kind of a pill. I've never found him to be a very interesting... I think the most interesting I found him ever was when he snapped after Coast City was destroyed by Cyborg Superman during the whole Reign of the Supermen thing for Superman coming back from the dead. And then, you know, Emerald Twilight was the name of the 3-issue arc. It was Green Lantern number 48, 49, and 50. And number 47 was part of the Reign of the Supermen story arc, the only non-Superman title that was part of that entire thing when Superman came back from the dead. And Hal Jordan, when he finally was able to stop when they were fighting against Mongol and Cyborg Superman, he just finally broke down, and he used his ring to recreate the entirety of Coast City as an energy construct with people and everything. And
Oh, wow.
then the Guardians showed up as a hologram, and they were like, you're breaking the rules, so you need to report to Oa because we're taking your ring back. And he was like, taking my ring back? No, I'm keeping it, and I'm going to take all of yours. I'm going to recreate my city. And they were like, right. And they sent a bunch of Green Lanterns after him, and he killed them and took their rings as he traveled to
my.
Oa.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, it was something to behold. And by the time he gets to Oa, he has multiple Green Lantern rings on each of his digits.
And this is Hal, right?
This is Hal Jordan. Yeah, because the loss of his city, everyone in his entire life. I mean, he snapped like a twig and fall, and then just as he kind of gets ready to walk into the main power battery to absorb all the Green Lantern energy, the Guardians they bust out their all-purpose contingency plan, otherwise known as Plan B, and it's Sinestro. They gave Sinestro a Green Lantern ring and said, go stop Hal Jordan. And, of course, Sinestro's like, oh, yes, well, Jordan, I guess it would be so easy for you to beat me with 35 rings on your hands. And Hal's like, oh, okay, fine, no crutches. And he pops all of them off except his one. And they go toe-to-toe, and then Hal Jordan, without using the ring or anything, straight up breaks Sinestro's neck.
Oh, wow.
Just grabs each from behind each side of his, just cracks it, and then he goes into the power battery, absorbs it. The resulting blast is a wave all over the planet of Oa, and the Guardians themselves form a ring of a circle around one Guardian in particular, Ganthet, and it was a bid to protect him, and in doing so, that means there is still at least one Guardian left. But Hal, when he comes out of the power battery, which means there's now nothing to power any Green Lanterns anywhere, there's none of them left anyway. He has got this much cooler, weird, very 90s looking suit, with fucking big shoulder pads that for no good reason. And he starts going by the name Parallax. And meanwhile, Ganthet picks up the ring that Hal stepped on and crushed after he came out of the battery, refuses it in his hand, and then flies to Earth and immediately finds a young artist who is biracial. His background is Mexican and Irish. His name is Kyle Rayner. He's a comic book artist. And he's like, Kyle Rayner, you've been chosen, and gives him the ring. And that's where it gets far more interesting, because there's no core. There's no no vast membership that can be called upon. It's just Kyle Rayner, and all he did was give him the ring. He doesn't need a lantern. He doesn't need to say the oath with the ring.
So how does he charge it?
He doesn't need to.
Okay.
He doesn't need to charge it anymore, and because Ganthet just because those things were all built-in fail-safes. Because he just fused it back together and quickly made the ring, it had none of the fail-safes, meaning it didn't need to be charged anymore, and it didn't have any vulnerabilities to yellow or anything.
Okay.
So but Kyle was still kind of navigating. It was still a little volatile too. I don't think it could do as many things either. I think he had to actually concentrate if he wanted it to try to translate languages, because otherwise it didn't do it automatically. It didn't really speak to him like the rings used to do with the AI they had in it. But I think doing that was far more interesting than having the same oh, I'm a space cop, blah blah blah. Okay, sure. The really sad and enraging thing about it is Ron Mars got death threats from comic fans across the country because he changed the character of Hal Jordan to a villain. And it's you got to think about this at that point in time. This was before the internet was all over the place. People sat down.
Oh yeah. Well, this was New 52, right?
No, this was
No?
the 90s.
Oh, the
dude.
90s.
Yeah,
Okay.
the death of Superman.
Oh yes, Uranus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this was the 90s. They had to sit down and
Write
a letter and mail it to him and be like, I'm gonna find out where you live. I'm gonna kill you because of Green Lantern. I don't know about that one, man. Sure, but yeah, ultimately, I mean, I think that was good for the stories that they were trying to tell, because if you don't infuse different things and have consequences, then you're just gonna see the same stories and character arcs repeated over and over and over again. Who the hell wants that? I mean, I know that there are plenty of people out there that want that. Don't get me wrong. I should say, what reasonable person wants that?
Well, I just learned a whole ton about Green Lantern that I didn't know.
I had no idea that you didn't know that, man. Yeah,
No.
it was something to behold, because he was a character that I had known about academically. You know, I was aware of Alan Scott as the Golden Age Green Lantern. I always loved the concept of the Green Lantern Corps. But when I read a lot of the stuff, especially, you know, the time when I was a kid, stuff that had already been out, there wasn't a whole lot that I found very interesting. And I understand that there are some people out there where, like, higher concept sci-fi stuff, that's right up their alley, and nothing wrong with that. But you at least need to continue to make it interesting. That they tried something different, I think should be commended. And I think that point in time where they did it in the 90s, that was the best time for it. I mean, you had Superman die and come back. Batman had his back broken. Wally West was getting all kinds of crazy with the Speed Force because of the stuff that, like, Mark Waid was doing, and, like, Born to Run and Terminal Velocity, stuff like that.
This was right before the crash, right?
Yeah. You know, this is like right before Underworld Unleashed or whatever, because, like, that was one of the big, you know, terrible moves for DC. And it's like I always think it's funny though, like, DC, you know, I'm not disparaging fans of any side, you know, DC, Marvel. I liked anything that was a good story. If it was engaging, then more power to them, and I was on board. But at that point in time, it was a clear push from Marvel Comics to just make their comics as shiny and pretty as possible on the outside and not worry so much about what the content was. DC's failings were they actually tried different things story-wise, and some of them worked really well and a bunch of others just didn't. But they didn't really fall into the foil cover, lenticular cover thing left and right like you saw. I mean, Marvel wasn't even the worst offender.
I know, not Image.
Valiant.
Yes, Valiant.
They were the worst.
Yeah, I still have some of the,
like, how many fucking lenticular covers or foil covers do you need for, like, Ninjak?
Yeah.
Really?
The big thing was Silver Surfer number 50. I bought a crap ton of those. Oh my god! And that was the beginning of the crash. But around the same time, there was, like, Robin 2, which had a bunch of different covers, but it came with cards and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least coming with cards is something. I can say that.
Oh yeah.
But I never fell for any of that.
Not even X-Men number 1.
No.
Well,
was it like they had 4 covers that connected together, but it was still just the same stupid
But then you had
book?
then you had the 5th cover that had the poster of all of them.
Oh yeah, I had the one that had the poster of all of them.
I
Because I was like, why would I bother getting the rest of them when I can just fold this out? Look, there it is.
I have 44 copies of X-Men number 1.
Why? Because you thought it was gonna, like.
Yeah. I was
even as a kid, I used to say to people all the time, like, you do understand that the reason why comics are worth so much is because, like, no one saved them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was a combination of nobody caring about little kids stuff, and also, and I know this is hard for some people to wrap their head around, we had wars going on back to back. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. The Korean War was a Korean War. It was not a conflict. We call it a conflict because we lost, all right? The Korean War, all right? In those 2 instances, especially starting during World War II, when do you think recycling became a thing in this country? It was because of World War II.
Oh yeah.
We were recycling everything we possibly could. Paper, metal, whatever. And those comics were either recycled to make paper for other things, or they would be shipped in care packages to soldiers overseas, because a lot of those guys who were fighting in Germany were just out of high school themselves. They were still kids.
Yep.
So yeah, they wanted to read about whatever, Dr. Occult was doing that week or what have you. And but that's the reason, because they would get thrown out or just reused as something else. But nowadays, when like the Death of Superman happened, you had people walking in and buying 50 copies, and it's like, how much a unopened copy of Superman number 75 is right now? Like, decent price?
What, $2?
Like maybe 15 to 20
Really?
bucks. Yeah, because the market's flooded with
Oh
them.
yeah.
They probably have 17 copies here that we could look at. I wouldn't be surprised.
We'll have to go through the dollar bin.
Yeah. They'll buy buy one of those comics for $7, and then they'll mark it up to 20 and make $13 profit when somebody eventually buys it.
I should see if they have X-Men #1 so I can make an even 50.
That would be something. Oh, you haven't read this one? Actually, I've read it a bunch of times, and I own 4 dozen copies. Actually, 49 to be perfectly honest. I'm hoping to get it to an even 5-0. You want to help me out? Like, wow, I've never heard somebody doing such a thing.
I was young at the time, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna buy all these issues, sit on them for 30 years or whatever.
Yeah, you and
Yeah.
everybody else, man. You and everybody else. It's just like people seeing that comics and toys are worth it a lot, but not
Oh, yeah.
knowing why.
Holy shit! The video game market.
Oh,
Oh my god! Have you seen the prices of games?
it's out of control,
Yeah.
dude. I see some of the stuff too, and I'm like, oh my god, if only I had held on to this. But
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing too, is like I've always been more of an enthusiast than a collector when it comes
Yeah.
to things. Like, not to say that I wouldn't be a completionist as well and want the entirety of a thing. And if I do go out and try to complete a set or have everything on whatever, it's because I want it and I plan on having it, not because I'm going to hold on to it for a little while and then see what I can sell it
Yeah.
for. I think if you are looking at a lot of these things primarily for that, you're kind of missing the point. Stuff that we're talking about, video games, comic books, it's supposed to be fun.
Oh
It's
yeah.
supposed to be escapist.
Yep.
I mean, haven't you been buying some older video games and stuff lately?
I have. Apparently, not Nintendo. Atari games are really reasonably priced.
Yeah, the games are, but how much would a 2600 cost you?
No idea.
Yeah.
I don't have a 2600. I actually play the emulated games on PC.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
the way to go for sure.
But I picked up some complete in-box games for around $30 a piece. They're open, they're used, but they're clean.
Yeah.
Boxes ripped because that's how you open games back then. you
Yeah,
know.
of course.
Yeah.
We needed to prove that it was that it was
yeah.
purchased, right?
But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
So the games are
Oh,
worth
oh,
a
oh.
lot.
Oh, so Atari games, apparently there was like some warehouse they found
Oh jeez.
with a shit ton of games. So like eBay is flooded with like unopened Atari games, like sealed. But they're like, they've been sitting in a warehouse, so a lot of them are like crushed and stuff like that. But
Oh wow.
yeah, you can buy unopened Atari games fairly cheap on eBay.
I mean, I asked the question, and I really want to know the answer.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go to eBay. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go to eBay, and it's an XL. Sorry. One of my things popped up.
No
I was
worries.
I've had my eye on a particular Superman sweatshirt for quite some time, but they don't. I can never find it in my size. It's always one size too small. It's killing me. It's this right here, but it's like kind of a shiny.
Oh, nice.
S on it. Yeah, it's a blue sweatshirt with like a white Superman insignia. You guys can try to find it for yourself. I'm not going to try to hold it up to the camera. So Atari
2600 CIB.
CIB?
CIB. Stands for Complete Inbox.
Inbox. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm like, I know what that means. CIB. Video game consoles.
How much is the console?
There's two right off the bat. Yeah, complete. Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually, that's not. That's actually the best. Okay, right off the bat, the first two I see. Tested mint. $479.99
Wow.
plus $112.05 shipping.
Wow.
Then the next one. I'm just kind of curious what country that must come from. Ships from United States. What the? Okay. The next one is vintage, complete in box. Actually, I mean, it looks like it hasn't even been opened. Oh, maybe it has. Okay. But complete in box, $849.99. But the shipping on this one is $20.
Well, yeah.
I don't-
You get eBayers like that, like,
I don't get it.
We're going to scam on the shipping so we can get to low price.
Right.
Yeah. But what about games?
Oh my God, games. Okay, let me type games. CIB.
Yep.
Boop-a-doo-boop-boo. Well, I guess it really depends on the game. Jedi Arena,
Yeah.
$39.95.
That's not bad.
No, I don't know what Beat 'em and Eat 'em by Mystique is.
Well, so like anything,
That's $159.
yes,
though.
some of the rarer games are going to be, but games like Pac-Man and
Joust,
Pitfall-
$33.99. Brand new.
Wow.
Brand new. Holy crap. Target Fun
Joust
Casino.
was a great game.
Aardvark. My God, I haven't even thought about that. Kaboom. $20. Easy peasy. Pac-Man, $19.95. Miss Pac-Man, $12.99.
Oh, wow.
Miss Pac-Man,
Yeah.
she's great. She's little. She's cute. She swallows. I get the appeal. Space Invaders, $10.
Wow.
10 friggin' bucks. What the hell? Blinky goes up? All right, now I would think just based on the name that that's some kind of Pac-Man sequel, but it is not. It is not. Yeah, okay, I don't know. Look at. I don't even. Look at that screen. I don't even.
Okay.
That's a weird one.
Yeah. Could be like an adventure type of thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sears Telegames. Oh my God. And everybody thought that they were going to be the next big thing to fucking make Atari games. X-Man.
X-Man?
X-Man.
M-A-N?
M-A-N. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right here.
Oh.
American version. $2,000.
Oh, wow.
It's sealed and intact. Oh, an adult video game cartridge. Oh.
Yeah, and it even has the X-Men type logo.
Yeah. That's GameX Presents. Oh God. What is this? What does the back of this thing say? I need to see it.
So essentially it's pixels bumping pixels.
Yeah, let's see. GameX Presents X-Men. You're an X-Man, the macho super stud of the year. A sexy blonde with a body that doesn't quit is waiting behind the door to satisfy your every fantasy. You've got the equipment, you're excited and ready to
What
give
the
her what she
hell?
desires. All you've got to do is get through that door and do your stuff.
For Atari?
Sounds easy? Wrong. Coming at you are the crabs with their claws ready to tear your privates
What the
apart.
hell?
Next come the scissors, whose sharp blades can cut off your manhood. And last are the teeth, who snap with a vice-like grip that will leave more than just marks.
Oh, my God.
Get the picture? But this sexy blonde is worth it, and you're a man who's ready for a challenge, action, and escape from tight spots. We promise that if you've got the stuff to... What is it?
And it keeps going?
Yep, to avoid your attackers and get through the door, you'll score in more ways than one. Remember that behind the door awaits your sexy surprise and bonus points as well. See how far you can go and how much you can score as you take the X-Man Challenge. X-Man, the adult video game that only you can bring to an exciting climax.
Jeez.
For Atari, man. That
Wow.
And I mean, I didn't even read the whole. There's still
Holy
more.
crap.
Like, it's. Oh God, that is.
So yeah, Atari games are.
So
yeah.
that was basically Leisure Suit Larry,
Yeah.
but Frogger, 1899. Just that's my segue.
Yeah.
Oh, Frogger.
I was playing Frogger the other day.
Nice. You ever play it when they redid it for PlayStation?
Yes.
It was okay.
Yeah.
And my baby brother loved it. He was terrible at it, but he loved it. Backgammon. Oh, finally. Yeah. Galaxian.
Oh.
1999. That's not bad.
No, not at all. So yeah, they found a warehouse and
Oh, Donkey Kong Jr. $38.
I love Donkey Kong.
I love
Jr.
Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah.
I liked it so much more than Donkey Kong.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I really did. Dun 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 dun. Ah, damn it. I love that game.
So yeah, this is Sarge's Comics.
Yeah, Sarge's Comics in New London for free comic book day.
I know. It's almost 3:00. We should start winding down. We are streaming live here. So make sure you stop on by for free comic book day here at Sarge's Comics and Games in New London, Connecticut. All in-stock merchandise is 10% off, and specialty marked items are half off. Be sure to join them on May 7th. That's today. And it looks like in-stock merchandise only can't be combined with other discounts, and it expires tomorrow. So if you didn't want to, brave the crowds, come tomorrow and buy some comics.
Yeah, there's quite a few people rolling through this place.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there's been some interesting waves as well.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to pick up my box before I leave.
Yeah, same. I got a few things before I walk out the door.
Yeah.
I definitely need to get new long boxes. There's just no doubt about that in my mind.
I moved all the short boxes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't have short boxes. I don't have those. It's just all fucking long boxes. 22 of them. And like I was explaining to you,
Yeah.
my mother, she passed away a couple months ago, and so we were clearing out her house, and I had moved all of my comic books out of her crawl space years ago, and set them up in the basement, covered and taken care of, in my house. And I had sworn up and down for years that I had 22 long boxes, and while pulling them out and first moving them to a storage unit and then eventually to our house when they started charging way too much for a storage unit, I counted 17 boxes, and I was like, oh, I guess I was just a stupid kid that didn't know how to count. And as we were clearing stuff out, I go there. My youngest brother, who was still living at the house, he went through and cleared out the crawl space altogether, and there were 5 friggin' comic book boxes right there. And I was like, oh, so the number was 22. I knew it. But my mother's water heater broke in the years since I had cleared it out, and 4 of the 5 boxes are just dilapidated. They're foobar, fouled up beyond all repair, all recognition. And I opened them up and just dreaded the worst, and holy shit, no damage to the comics whatsoever. The boxes
awesome.
just took all of it. So they did their job, but I need to replace them. And I figured since I was going to be here today, probably the best place to do that.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. But also, I've seen a couple other things while walking around. I'm like, I think this might need to come home with me.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to do some shopping before we leave also.
Yeah.
Just, see, my wife's not going to be home, so I can sneak stuff home.
That's the spirit, man. Yeah, see, I could be like, yeah, my wife will have no idea, but if she even watches part of this by the time I get home, and it's an hour and a half drive back to where I live, I'll be all sneaky walking in the bush, be like, oh, so where's the shit that you said you bought? I'm like, what?
So
What?
she wouldn't say, where's the pasta?
I mean, there's a strong. It'd probably be both. Where's my pasta, and where's the stuff you said you spent a quote stupid amount of money on, Brandon? What do you? You mean for the gifts I got for you? What gifts did you get me? I got you new comic book boxes.
I got you a giant Deadpool.
Yeah, I got you a gray Deadpool. What do you think about that? I think that's something that you wanted. Are you giving this to me? Thank you, Dara. So nice when I bought it for you. That's how it would play out in my head at any rate. Real life might be a little hairier.
Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss before we wrap it up?
No. I think we're good. Hey, if anybody out there gets a chance, go check out Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
It's fun. You might hear some people saying it's the hottest thing since bread first came out of the oven. You might hear some people saying that it's not really the best Marvel Studios movie ever made. I say go see it and make up your own mind. That's all I have to say. Good.
Yeah, definitely go check it out, and good weekend to see it. Mother's Day weekend. It's
Nothing like bringing mom to go see Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange movie.
Why not? So here we are. I'm Leo. This is Brandon from Sarges Comics and Games.
Yes, because we're at Sarge's Comics and Games in New London, Connecticut for Free Comic Book Day.
Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Have a good one, everybody.